I want to talk about the Knicks. Unfortunately for you, because I feel like that might be a rough topic at these times. It's a little bit hard talking
I
about
love
the
it.
Knicks.
I love it.
You still love talking about the Knicks?
It's not a rough time for me at all because like I said, I've been studying the game of basketball in depthly since I was like 6 to 7. So I
Yeah.
know the way that this shit goes. Some droughts are longer than others, but sucking is good because at the end of that rain, it's like rain. At the end of the rainbow is the pot of gold. Like the Warriors. When I was a kid and I grew up, the Warriors sucked. They were terrible. They were always ass. They like literally were hot garbage. And to now see them have a dynasty, when I was 9 years old, you couldn't tell me that the Warriors were going to have a dynasty because they were that bad. But it's highs and lows. Like that's just what it is. There's never just a time where a team is just always winning. But like, I don't know. For big market teams, we'll say. Big market teams, we'll say. So like the
It's
Knicks,
a bit different, right?
I'm before every team is a dynasty, they've sucked. That's just what I tell people. They've sucked.
Yeah, I mean, you can't stay on top forever. There's always going to be highs and lows. But the reason that you get to those highs, right? You have some people within the organization that drive the force, right? You know what I mean? They push for that. And my first question to you: what are your thoughts on Dolan, man? Because I feel like that's where it starts. And until he's either he changes his methods or he gets the hell up out of there, I don't see change for the Knicks coming.
Yeah, I used to feel like that, but until we started changing things under him.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I see him changing as far as that. Him as a person, who he is. He's how old is James Dolan? He got to be 60 or in the late 50s, early 60s, somewhere in that age. So who he is who he is. He's always going to be this person that people view as a clown and just does dumb shit, whether it's kicking a fan out, things like that. That's who he is. But as far as how the Knicks are ran, us changing and hiring Leon Rose, you know what I mean, and World Wide West and things like that, those people changed the look of the Knicks because those people are respected figures not only in basketball but in the culture. Yeah. So it gives us something that we stand on. Like I don't know how much people are in tune with who those people are, but there was a reaction around the NBA and around culture, like the hip hop culture, black culture. That was a great response to the Knicks picking those dudes up because that's a certain prestige that their names carry. And that's why already when they come in, there's ties to so much shit going on with the Knicks because those dudes have so many good relationships. Like Devin Booker is tied with the Knicks now. Why? Because he has a relationship with Leon Rose. You know what I mean? Like that's how you change. Like Dolan can keep it. He can stay there. Cool, whatever. But as long as we have those guys in there calling the shots and not fucking I forget his name already because we fired his ass. But fuck, what is his name? My mind's going blank right now because we talking
about the coach or
no, the last guy we had Scott Perry and then Steve Mills. Yes. Right. So Steve Mills has been, Steve Mills has been around for a lot of the dumbass shit that was going on. So we get him out of there. We got Leon Rose. We still got Scott Perry, also another dude who's highly respected. Great relationship with KD. That's why a lot of people thought KD was coming, was because of Scott Perry. We got World Wide West. We just hired Tom Thibodeau. There was reports that we were going to hire a coach, and one of the other candidates was going to be their assistant. So I'm hoping we get Thibodeau and can maybe get a Kenny Atkinson to be his assistant or some shit like that. Yeah. And then as far as the talent, when you suck this bad as we have, the draft picks accumulate.
That's true.
So, if we can get this number one pick, we'll have LaMelo, RJ, you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? I was talking like that last year, though.
We was, because we're supposed to. Whenever you suck, you're supposed to, like, shoot for the star. Even when you're a kid, it's a kid out there that probably has no chance to get into the NBA, but you dream because you can, you should. And if you reach for the stars, land on a cloud, like, you'll be cool. That's what you're supposed. Like, I don't get that theory on Twitter, and it's just normally a Twitter thing. Like, they'll try to clown the Knicks for having high hopes. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? Why the hell would I fucking wish for the 9th overall pick?
I think the joke is, right, because it's something that's supposed to be left up to chance. And, when you swing and miss as many times as the Knicks had, it's just at a certain point, it's just like, it's sad for me to watch, but I'm sure it's funny for other people to watch. So, damn, y'all thought y'all was getting KD. You thought you was getting Kyrie. You thought you was getting Zion.
Are we the only people that thought those things? I see all the time. I nobody else see the Raptors putting Giannis they don't see Giannis being put in a Raptors jersey.
Yeah, but like the Raptors won their championship though.
I saw Kevin Durant, but that don't mean that they gonna get Giannis though.
No, I don't.
Missing
we see Giannis in the Warriors jersey. We see Giannis. I mean,
exactly.
The Lakers. The Lakers on that wave too. We think we gonna get everybody.
Thank you. I saw when Kyrie was.
We did get LeBron.
When Kyrie was a free agent, I saw Kyrie in a million uniforms. Anytime any of those high-profile guys are free agents, they're put in a million uniforms. The Knicks are just like every other team. We just have a bigger fan base than a lot of teams, so it makes more noise. Nobody really gives a shit when Milwaukee fans put people in jerseys and they don't get them.
Because you know what it is? People, especially on Twitter, people don't like to punch down at people. No one likes to punch down at people who are beneath them. People like to punch up. They like to get at the people who are in power. So the powerhouse franchises in the NBA, you talk about the Lakers, as of late, the Warriors, the Celtics, and the Knicks. And the Knicks are the one of the few teams that are the powerhouse franchises, and they've been down. So it's easy to punch up at the Knicks because you guys are in a position where people feel like you should be more successful than you are.
I feel like that's for a Laker thing. I feel like
people love coming at the Lakers. That's what I know.
You ain't punching up at the Knicks right now. I feel like you kicking the Knicks while they down, more so in my opinion when I look at
But that's what people love to do. Because the Knicks are in people's minds, they're supposed to be up, right? The Knicks, you got this. You're in one of the biggest markets. You in New York. You used to have this history. You got Spike Lee, and the Knicks. When I really think about it, they haven't had that great of a basketball history to them. It's nowhere near like the Lakers or the Celtics. But because it's New York and because it's Madison Square Garden, people still view it as punching up at the Knicks. Go ahead.
When Twitter get a narrative, when Twitter get a thing that's supposed to be a joke, they just run with it. That's just like fucking the narrative that Carmelo Anthony is not a winning player. That's not real. It's not real.
That's interesting. Because I feel like at this stage in career, I have my questions, man.
It's not real.
Questions.
It depends on what you consider as winning.
I know what he can provide to a team in terms of
having a championship does not make you a winner. You cannot tell me that Karl Malone and John Stockton aren't winners.
So you're talking about over the course of his entire career.
Over their careers.
Oh, no. Yeah, Carmelo's a winning player over the course of his career. I'm saying at this particular juncture, I don't know.
I don't care at this, but he's last leg. I'm not really. It's whatever. But let Twitter tell that he's not a winning player.
Yeah, Twitter do. They be on some shit sometimes, man.
And that's why I don't really. That's why I don't really care. But no, we good.
I want to talk about Thibodeau, man, because you brought up that y'all just hired him, and you talked about how you could get one of these candidates and plug them in at assistant coach, and you brought up Kenny Atkinson. That's who I felt the Knicks should go after, but you guys ended up going with Thibodeau on a 5-year deal. What are your knee-jerk reactions on Thibodeau as the new head coach?
None really. I'm not one of those people. Because I feel like we've had some solid coaches over the past years, but like you just mentioned, up top, it depends on how they handle it. I don't think David Fizdale was a bad coach at all.
He wasn't. Let me tell you, as a Memphis fan, he was a pretty damn good coach.
Exactly. So, and he has the jury to also say as an assistant coach with the Heat. But but because of the shit around it, it looks like he's not a good coach. So to me, it doesn't matter who the coach is. It depends on what position we're putting them in. Just like Jeff Hornacek. Jeff Hornacek isn't Phil Jackson, but Jeff Hornacek wasn't a bad coach either. He had Phoenix. Phoenix won like 40-something games and missed the playoffs just because they were in the West. But when you put him in a Knicks and Phil Jackson is making him run the triangle offense, he's not going to be a good coach. That's not his shit to run. So that's why the Knicks have always had, quote unquote, a history of bad coaches. That's because we're not letting them coach. A coach should do what the fuck he wants to do. Not, you've never run a triangle? Well, I want you to do it even though I'm not the coach. I just felt like that's always been a disaster for the Knicks. We got to let guys be them. And that's why I kind of like Tom Thibodeau, because he's going to do what he does because he's just that type of guy. You're not going to make him do some shit he doesn't want to do. He doesn't have a history of that. He went to the Bulls and played all his players and ran them into the ground because that's what he wanted to do. He went to Minnesota and got Jimmy Butler because that's what the hell he wanted. He kind of has his way of doing things, and I like that and respect that. I like Kenny Atkinson too because he does a good job with young talent. So I kind of prefer that for the Knicks with this young thing. But if we can get him as an assistant and copy y'all, which I love what the Lakers did. we can't have 5 head coaches, but we'll fucking hire one, and the other 3 will make assistants. I think that is genius. You know, to have Jason Kidd interviewed for the head coaching job with the Knicks, but also with the Lakers.
Yep.
But they said, shit, we'll just make you an assistant. Who else y'all got? Y'all got Lionel Hollins or something?
Lionel Hollins, defensive specialist.
Yeah, we'll make you an assistant. Like, I just think that that's genius. Like, let's get all of these head coaches and just like make them work together. And I hope the Knicks do that. But my number 1 guy was Mark Jackson for me personally.
Really?
Yeah, I love Mark Jackson.
Talk to me about that. Why Mark Jackson?
What he did with the Warriors, I feel like is just like legendary. I think it's unfortunate. It's bullshit. And he needs another job, another chance. And I think the best chance and job would be the Knicks. He played for the Knicks. He's well respected. They need a figure. The Knicks need a figure. They don't need just like a coach. And I think that's why it was important for them to get Tom Thibodeau, because he's like a figure. He's like a guy that's stern. It's his way, or kind of, I don't want to say no way, but he just has his ways, and they need that type. They don't need some flimsy ass first time head coach who's gonna get ate up by the media. They need people who know what they're doing. And watching Mark Jackson develop the Warriors into what they have become now is immaculate. Like I just think it's the dopest shit in the world, and I just think it's unfortunate that they fired him, and Steve Kerr gets all the love for that, because Steph Curry was not the point guard he is now before he met Mark Jackson. And there's no coincidence that Mark Jackson is a legendary point guard, and after being with Steph Curry became a legendary point guard. Yeah, it's no coincidence that he was calling them the best shooting backcourt ever before anybody else, because Mark Jackson was developing it and seeing it. You know what I mean? It's no coincidence that they drafted so well when he was there. It's no coincidence, but they'll act like it was all Steve Kerr, which I highly disagree with. But
who do you think on that team, deserves to stay around for the long haul?
Mitchell Robinson.
That's it?
Pretty much. I mean, they're so young that I mean, for me to say RJ Barrett should be here for the next 9 years would be foolish, because he's so young. Maybe he could become that player the next year or two, but like right now, if they traded RJ Barrett, I wouldn't fucking throw a fit if we got something back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, RJ Barrett ain't done nothing yet to make me say, oh, hey, he ain't have a Ja Morant Zion year. He had a solid rookie year, but like that doesn't mean I think he should stay the next 10 years. Yeah. And neither does that mean that for Mitchell Robinson. But I like Mitchell Robinson. I'm trying to give you somebody. I like Mitchell Robinson. I still like Frank Ntilikina. I have some hope in Kevin Knox, but I don't think the Knicks roster has anybody where it's like if they get traded or anything like that, we throwing a fit. We're rioting. We don't have that type of roster. We have some nice young guys that we have to hope develop well, especially with a new coach like Thibodeau, who's shown that he knows how to develop talent. That they take that next step. But yeah, RJ Barrett, Frank Ntilikina is cool. I can name you guys that I like. Guys like Julius Randle. Yeah, I want to see them, that guys like that get moved. Yeah. But yeah, I like our young guys, but that's about it. Like Dennis Smith Jr. wouldn't mind if he left. Wouldn't really care. Alonzo Trier I liked, but we let him go to the Nets for whatever reason that was about. My mind is going blank. Who else do I like?
Elfrid Payton.
Say that again.
Elfrid Payton.
Yeah, so he's a guy that can go. I don't have no, because Frank Ntilikina, I would rather just see Frank Ntilikina get more minutes.
Right.
I did like the idea that we did going into this year, though, when we had all the young guys and we brought in the Elfrid Paytons, the Taj Gibsons, Marcus Morris. I liked our team to start the start of this year. We just didn't know how to win games, but we played very, very well against a lot of good teams, and we lost to the Celtics on the Jason Tatum game winner shot. We lost to the Bulls once on like a very close game. Kobe White went off. Yeah. We lost a lot of close games. We beat the Mavericks twice, the best offense in the NBA. We beat them twice. So we had some moments. I just feel like we were young and didn't really have that guy.